Hey everyone. So this is just a quick video because I'm excited about this. More to come in the future, but what I have on screen here is a Dynamo script, and then there's some Python code here. And what's cool about this is this right here, import Revit underscore RS, is a Rust library that was compiled to work with Python, and I'll talk more about that in the future. I'm still learning a lot about Rust and how it works. But what this code does here is it's got one function in it and it groups lines. And then what I've done here is I've just created a list of lines. And those lines are just a bunch of tuples that contain an X, a Y, and a Z, and we've got an X1, Y1, Z1 to represent the point, the start point of the line, and then we have the end point. Now, in the future, I would like to be able to pull lines from a like the Revit environment, potentially looking at AutoCAD stuff or model line, just all sorts of different lines. And but to keep things simple and to test it, I just created this real quick. We're grouping 30,000 lines. There's an ignore distance of 100, and then I've got a start time and then an end time. Now, I have already ran this. We can see it ran at about 5 seconds. And all the code is this here. So we've got our library and then dot group curves. Group curves is the function, and that function was written in Rust to be used in Python. And some of the benefits of that is that Rust is really fast. It's used for all sorts of things, and that's kind of why I wanted to start learning it. Is it's a really powerful language, and it's also really fast. Now, I can't speak a whole lot because I just haven't used it enough to really know what it all can do and what the pros and cons are. But again, I'm just excited about this because it works and I think it's super cool. But in this function, we just pass in a list of lines and then the ignore distance. We saw that there was an output, but I'm going to run it again, and it should finish roughly about 5 seconds. So there it goes. So about the same time. Now, I'd like to, and to clarify, this is more for fun with the hopes of maybe turning this into something. But I want to test this against Python code that groups curves, and then maybe a more elegant approach to it to compare multiple Python functions and how to group curves and look at the times. And then also compare this to maybe something else. I just don't know just yet. Maybe like compare it in just Rust by itself and not Rust to Python, which is what I'm doing here. And so it's just super cool because when you learn Rust, you can then start to develop these functions. Like, as an example, if grouping curves was a bottleneck to use in automation and your limitation was Python, then you could utilize Rust and do that part of it, so that computationally heavy part. So I can have, in this example here, have Rust do all the line grouping, and then I can have Python handle all the Revit API stuff if I need to do any of that, preventing any weird bottlenecks, but also opening up, I think, more possibilities. And if you share this library with anybody, because there is a steep learning curve to Rust, if you shared a compiled like Rust library that's for Python, it's something that can be shared with anybody, and it works pretty much exactly the same as any other module you would use from Python. And you just import it, and then you can use the functions in that module. But anyways, that's it. I just wanted to show it. I thought it was cool. I will share more in the future. I will also post pretty much everything that I do on my GitHub. You can have that and use it however way you want. And Just right now, I'm not doing that because there's not a whole lot to show on that front. I'm trying to figure out some what I think might be basic things. I'm not sure yet. When I figure out more, hopefully I'll be able to talk about it. But I'm not sure. I just don't know what the solution is. But you can see here I'm just using whole numbers. And it's because when I try to use a float, I run into issues, and I've tried to fix it in Rust, and I keep running into problems. I don't see it as a big deal right now because it's more for fun, and I'm kind of just figuring it out. So it's a challenge that I'm learning from, but it's just not in a stage where I can share it and it would actually be that beneficial, I think. But if it is something that might be helpful for you now, let me know. I'd be glad to share it with you. But at some point I will have it all on GitHub. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.